Good evening, LTL Nation, and welcome back to the 7-minute breakthrough revolution. So far, we've shined light on resolutions. We've tackled success. And here we are this week touching on what is possibly the most controversial topic of all. What is happiness? How do we define it? How do we go about it? Do we go about it biologically with endorphins and dopamine and serotonin? Or psychologically with analyzation of the mind? Or emotionally with the processing of all the feelings we experience? How do we explain it? How do we manage it? For the past week or so, I've been thinking long and hard about my talk tonight. And I've asked a lot of different people about their perceptions and definition of happiness. And guess what? I came up with one conclusion. Happiness is so controversial, it overwhelms the broadest spectrum of our imagination. What makes you happy does not necessarily have to make me happy. What makes a kid happy doesn't make a grown-up happy. If you give a kid and a grown-up the same piece of chocolate, measure their levels of happiness. Take away a balloon from a child and take away the same balloon from a grown-up and see what happens. Happiness is so personal yet so selfless. Happiness is amazing, yet it is very weird in our understanding. But this is Life Talks Live. My name is Faisal Zeineddine, and I promise you, if you stick around for the next 4 to 5 minutes, not only will you better understand happiness, but you will also have a chance to experience it. During the past week or so, I asked a lot of people the same exact question. Do you consider yourself happy? And whether the answer was an immediate yes, or they teared up, or they had this little debate with themselves, there was one common factor involved. Whenever I seemed to mention happiness, it felt like sadness was coming into play. And that's not coincidental. You see, happiness is so meaningful, it is so sought after because of sadness. One does not exist without the other. It's the same as saying that black implies white, and up implies down, and positive implies negative, and vice versa. Sadness is a crucial part in the equation that gives meaning to life and everything that's in it. I've heard a lot of people coach about happiness through and through. But if you believe that life is or should be this steady flight of increasing states of happiness, then you're either insane or delusional, or you're in complete denial of the truth. Life is not a steady flight of happiness. Life, ladies and gentlemen, is a roller coaster with its ups and downs and twists and turns and dips and falls and plunges and flips and scares and all of it. Life is a roller coaster ride. Now I want you to keep that in mind for a moment because we're going to come back to it in a second. But before I do, I need you to get a feel of the power of your mind in the realm of imagination. You see, your mind is more powerful, more creative, more instantaneous than the most powerful supercomputer in the world when it comes to imagining stuff. It can imagine stuff that never even existed in a split of a second in full and complete detail. Like, for example, a dog with a lion's head, or a plane with an ant's antennas, or an elephant with these huge butterfly wings. You see? Now I want you to put that imagination to use. Wherever you are right now, whenever you're listening to this, right now, I want you to close your eyes and imagine. Imagine you're on this scariest, most rough, most huge, this incredible roller coaster ride, the scariest roller coaster ride in the world. You're 100 meters off the ground, and it's so fast, everything is blurry, you cannot even see a thing. You're completely out of control, you're terrified, you're being plunged down the scariest downs, and it's just too intense. I want you to feel that terrifying feeling while you're on that roller coaster for a second. And now, notice that as you're on that roller coaster, you seem to have these headphones on, and you're listening to the most beautiful, blissful, inspiring music ever. And you seem to slow down this roller coaster ride in your mind to near slow motion. Now nothing is so blurry anymore. It's slowed down and you can see everything. And it's beautiful, it's sensational. You're 100 meters off the ground and you get to see this vast landscape, this greenery, these mountains. You've got birds flying around you. You've got the sunset in front of you and like the city skyscrapers way off in the distance, and it's, wow, it's amazing. Even as you plunge down, you know you're coming back up. Even as you twist and turn and fall down, you know you're still steady. And now you've got this blissful feeling, this relaxation, this calmness, this happiness about you flowing through your body. So much so that you turn around to the person next to you, the terrified person next to you. You put a hand around them and you calm them down and you help them through it. You see, life is a roller coaster ride. But how we ride it, how we choose to ride it, starts within. Happiness does not start outside and builds in towards you. No, happiness is an inside job. It starts within you. Life is not a TV commercial. It's not a social media summary. Life is bumpy. Heck, I'm a life coach and I'm not always happy. Sometimes I'm mad, sometimes I'm sad and angry. Life is not always sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes we lose a lot. We lose people we love. We lose the chances we don't take. Successes we don't reach. There's pain, there's loss, and there's sadness. But it is this sadness that implies happiness. And you get to decide what you want it to be. You start within you. Life is a beautiful mess. Or it could be some wicked scheme, some evil master plan. But while you're here, it's your mind, that most powerful supercomputer in the world, that gets to decide. So it's up to you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was my talk for this week. I want you to tune in tomorrow with Shadden and the rest of the coaches. I'm sure they've got plenty of juicy stuff on this topic. Before I go, I would like you to share your thoughts, share your feedback. If you have any questions, go to our Facebook page at Life Talks Live or head to our website at lifetalkslive.com and share with us everything you've got. That's it for me. Have a very pleasant evening. I leave you in peace. Goodbye, over and out, LTL Nation.